Hello guys, and welcome to the first official episode of the series Learn to Code. I'm sorry for not having had a video on Saturday the few days ago, but yeah, so there were some issues, but now I'm back and this will be uploaded midweek, and there will hopefully still be a video this Saturday. So, I changed a little bit my plans for the videos that I was going to make. And I was planning on making a Visual Studio setup video, and same with Xcode on Mac, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, so I'll link to other tutorials that I find might be helpful for that very matter. And yeah, so won't be getting any from me. So we're going to go ahead and create the Hello World example, which is very famous, and we're going to have a very quick introduction to variables. So, to do this, once you have Visual Studio installed, go to New Project. Then you're going to select Win32 console application, call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Hello World Example. And let's go. So now we're going to go to Next. We're going to go ahead and just hit Empty Project, get rid of Secure Development Life Cycle, and Finish. So there we go. Now that's going to create for us a project. Now it'll start empty, so we're just going to go to the source files. We're going to add a new item, and we are going to call it main.cpp. Now this will be the main file that is compiled and that is then run. So here we go, it's empty. Alright, so for Visual Studio you have plenty of options up here, but I feel like the most helpful tool in Visual Studio is the quick launch option, which lets you type in a few keywords and then it'll open whatever you want for you. So if you want, just type options and then hit enter. It'll go ahead and open the options. Now you have plenty of options for the visual feel of it. So you can have color theme, it could be light or dark. Then there's some more interesting ones dependent on the language, and you get to customize a huge amount of stuff. But I'll let you guys explore that. It's very, very intuitive. But yes, there are many, many, many options. Alright, so we're just going to get out of those options. And, yes, there are the themes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the structure of the file. So, I would say that one of the most important parts is commenting. And now you're going to comment so that you can keep track of what's going on where, and so that if anybody else falls upon your file, they can keep track of what's going on. So to create a comment is just a double slash, and then you can type whatever you want. And so this is a comment. And now when this is run, it is going to totally ignore this line. It's not even going to know it exists. Next, so this for comments, this is for single line comments. So you're only going to be able to get a single line, but if you want a multiple line, you're going to go with / and then asterisk. And if you press enter, you'll see that the code is still green, the text is still green. That's because it is commented. So that'll let you do that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and say a comment saying that we are going to include here. And so what we're going to include are some of the standard things that C++ has included with C++. So to include some of these libraries and things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise, we're going to put a hashtag, and then it's going to be include, just like that, put a space, and then in brackets like that, you're going to write, oh, well, first of all, if you press Ctrl J, normally it'll give you a list. So this is a list of all the things you can include in your project. It's a very big list. So, but for our case, we're just going to need IO stream, which is going to let us stream data in and out, hence the I and the O. Now, so this is really not going to do anything. It's just going to tell the computer to include this file into it. So any line of code that is in there is going to magically appear in here, but we don't see that. It does it on its own. So now we're going to create the main method, which is going to be run automatically. we're going to go ahead and declare it as main. Alright, so this may look a little bit weird, but int is just the variable type that this is going to return. So this is the name of it. And in parentheses, there are some optional parameters, but we're not going to need those for main. And then here are the squiggly brackets, and this is where we put all the code inside of our function. So, now that we have that, we are going to put some code inside of the method. So to start off, we are going to make sure that this function returns a number because it is an integer. So in our case, we're just going to return 0 so that it's nice and simple. 0 is mainly the default if everything goes well, and then that's how you track what errors are happening in your program. So what we're going to do, so this is going to seem very complicated at first, but you guys might get it. Well, I'll explain it later on, but for now, just stick with me. So we're going to go with std for standard, not the other acronym. And then we're going to put 2 colons, and then we're going to put cout. Okay? So what this is doing is it is going to the standard library, and then within that there's this function called cout. And this lets us output data. Now what kind of data? Well, these are just bits, individual bits, ones and zeros. But the way we're going to make it know is we're going to put these 2 brackets facing it, and then we're going to say hello world, and then of course we're going to end with a semicolon because that's how many languages work. So what this is doing right here is it's taking this piece of text, which is surrounded by quotation marks, and it is sending all the ones and zeros, which is how the computer sees this. It's sending them into this, and then this outputs it onto the screen. Now if you try to run this right now, not much is going to happen. It's going to pop up with a window and it's going to disappear. So what we're going to have to do is, well, first of all, to make it nice and neat, we're going to put some more data that's going to be put into it, and this time we're going to say std and l. And what this is going to do is it's going to declare the end of the line. So it's basically just pressing enter. Now, of course, so this is Windows. You're not going to have to do this on Mac. But the window is closing automatically because it does its thing and it realizes that it's finished. So it's just going to close itself because it doesn't need to stay there anymore. So we're going to say system, which is a function. And in parentheses, we're going to put pause. Now this is going to let the computer run this just like how you would in the command line. And this is just going to let the window hang in there and stay open. So if we run that, there we go. It's going to say hello world, which is what we wanted it to say. And then this press any key to continue is just the way it works. It's just for us to debug it, for us to figure out what's wrong. But so far nothing's wrong, so we're just going to press a key to continue, and there we go. So this was basically how to put stuff out. So this could be text, this can be really anything, even if it's not text, even if, let's say it's a number, such as 612, it'll still output that because it'll figure out what the ones and zeros are. Okay, so now it knows how to interpret that and it'll output it. So now we're gonna kind of dig into some very basic variables. The way you declare variables is you say their type, which is int for integer, and we're going to call it a name such as number, and we're going to set it equal to, let's say, an arbitrary number, 42. And there we go. So now what it's going to say is it's going to tell the computer to reserve a spot for a variable called number and to make it 42. Alright, and so now, as you can see, if we output it, just like we did above, like this, it will output 42 because it knows what number is. So see, there we go. And then there are, of course, plenty of other variable types, which we will get into next time. But for now, yeah, this is it. So next time I am planning on having more advanced variables and maybe conditionals, although that'll probably be afterwards. But for now, yeah, this is it. A few little news update. I'm thinking of creating a chat room so that you guys can talk to each other and discuss the videos and any problems you guys have and help each other, and I'll probably drop in there quite often and try to help you guys out. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. You know what, we might even code it later on, make it ourselves, which would be much cooler. But yeah, for now, I mean, this is just a nice introduction, and that's it.